Why build custom software when there's out-of-the-box solutions? This is a common question I get asked and something that's very easy to explain. I used to work for a number of software vendors, both here in Australia and in the UK. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you why developing custom software can be very comparable to out-of-the-box solutions, both in time to market and cost. I'm Matt Grace, Managing Director of Flying Donkey. Let's get into it. My main drive for starting Flying Donkey was looking at how things were done in software vendors and how custom software can do this better. We can take a look at this through 5 key points I want to run through. Firstly, custom software is specifically made for the client in mind and the features that they need. Secondly, how custom software can actually achieve time to market as the same or better than out-of-the-box software. Thirdly, we'll look at providing a more personalized customer service. Then we'll have a look at why it's more costly to change an out-of-the-box solution than a custom piece of software. And finally, and most important, why custom software develops you a competitive advantage and not your competitors. Let's take a look at point number 1. Custom software is directly tailored to your business. Custom software is built around exactly what you need and only what you need, not what any other client needs. Out-of-the-box software normally has a huge range of functionality. And this is great for the out-of-the-box software that's trying to tailor for many clients. But realistically, as a client, you want to do a number of small things very well. This is completely opposite to what the out-of-the-box model is. When working at a software vendor, you're trying to keep in mind all the clients that use a single piece of software. But sometimes when you're building a piece of functionality for one client, that piece of functionality will go into the software and then be available for all other clients. And you can see how this potentially becomes difficult. We'll talk more about this in some later points. But one thing to keep in mind here is custom software does a few things very well for your business, whereas out-of-the-box software does a lot of things generally okay. And that's really up to you what you'd like. Comparable time to deployment. Now this one may sound counterintuitive. How can an out-of-the-box software potentially take longer to deploy than some custom software that you're doing? And it's key to keep in mind that these out-of-the-box pieces of software are very large pieces of software with huge pieces of functionality, particularly in the enterprise space. Configuring and getting these systems working in a single order is not very easy. As well as migrating clients' data to fit the existing software takes a significant amount of time. Whereas a piece of custom software, it's built directly for your business and will fit your existing model. If you have existing ways that you do processes, the custom software will fit to those. At the same time, using prototyping and agile sprints, you'll deliver the most valuable functionality up front for you. Rather than trying to get the whole piece system working first, we can deliver those key pieces of functionality and actually get you up and running on the software as fast or faster than an out-of-the-box solution. And thirdly, custom software providers will provide a more personalized service. Firstly, you have an out-of-the-box software solution. It's important to understand the difference between the drivers behind an out-of-the-box software and a custom software solution. For out-of-the-box software, there's always a software vendor behind it, and their main drive is to get as many clients on their piece of software as possible. Whereas for custom software solutions, their main goal is to keep their single client happy on that piece of software. If we look at this a bit closer, what that means is if you take a problem for your business to a software vendor, and what they'll end up trying to do is change your business to fit the software. Whereas in a custom software world, what's happening is that piece of software is being developed particularly for your business, and therefore the business process doesn't have to change. Therefore, the software is fitting to your business rather than your business fitting to a piece of software. And this feeds into some of the other things I mentioned, where custom software can actually be easier and quicker to develop than an out-of-the-box software, because there's potentially far more changes to be done in your business to fit that out-of-the-box software than there is if you're trying to build a custom software solution that fits yours. It's just key to remember the drivers behind each of these. Out-of-the-box software is trying to build software for many clients. Custom software is trying to build that piece of software just for your business. Reduced of cost to develop new features. Now this one might not sound obvious straight away, but let me explain. I used to sit in a product team within these software vendors, and what that really meant is when a client requested a new feature in a piece of software, it was brought into the product team. We would then decide how that feature would work for not only that client, but all the clients that use that piece of software. You've got to keep in mind that these out-of-the-box pieces of software are potentially being used by 10 or 100 or 1,000 clients. And you simply can't just release all of these features customized for a single client. You need to make them configurable and usable for the whole client base. And what that means is if you're being requested by a client to deliver some simple piece of functionality, by the time it's actually designed in one of these product teams, it becomes far bigger. At the same time, what that means is some of the functionality being developed in this out-of-the-box software may be potentially used by some of your competitors, but it's getting paid for by you. Meanwhile, on a custom piece of software that's developed just for your business, there's none of this process involved. If you need a simple report that only does one thing, then you can build that in the custom software. There's no need to look and try and work out how this piece could fit to multiple clients. And you can see here how delivering a new piece of functionality in custom software actually is far quicker and easier than developing that new piece of functionality in an out-of-the-box solution. And finally, developing a competitive advantage. Obviously in business, everyone wants to have a competitive advantage. And these days, technology is being that competitive advantage for many businesses. As we briefly touched on, when you're developing an out-of-the-box solution, that piece of functionality that you've developed potentially will go to all of your other clients. Therefore, by helping a software vendor put functionality into their system, you're potentially giving your competitive advantage to other clients. Now, I do understand that sometimes contracts come into this, but generally it's a limited amount of time where the functionality is available for you and for no one else. Whereas with custom software, all of this functionality and competitive advantage stays with you. And at Flying Donkey, our IP clause means that you pay for the software and it's your IP. Therefore, that IP is now your competitive advantage and potentially sits as an asset on your balance sheet and when your business gets sold. Whereas if you have an out-of-the-box solution, that competitive advantage is now a competitive advantage for that software vendor and potentially any other business that uses that piece of software. Intellectual property is becoming a larger and larger part of every business's valuation, and custom software is one that really feeds into this. It's something to really keep in mind that you want to make sure that you're developing something that builds your business and not something that develops someone else's business. I hope this has helped you understand why building custom software can sometimes be a much better option than out-of-the-box solutions. By developing features just for your business and not sharing them with the competitors, not having the complexity around supporting numerous clients, and keeping that IP within your business, custom software really potentially gives you an edge over your competitors that out-of-the-box software doesn't. If you're thinking about taking your business down the custom software path, feel free to reach out and have a chat.